Hello everyone, welcome to another Thursday morning. It is the 13th of June. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Alisa Tilsner. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in South Australia. We get together every Thursday morning for a little bit of card making. So today I thought we might do some watercolouring. I haven't done watercolouring for so long, and I'm thinking that the Citrus Blooms stamp set is going to be a really good start to get back into it and get my watercolouring mojo all up and running. So we are going to be working on fluid watercolour paper. We've got our aqua painter, a water painter, whatever you prefer, wet paintbrush and a thing of water and a whole stack of ink pads. So let's get this camera swung around. Good morning to everyone who is coming in this morning. Okay, let's switch these cameras around. Okay, let's have a look at the stamp set, the bundle first. It's actually a big suite, so and I probably don't have all the bits out, but I have got the paper and I have got the book out. So good morning, Lynn, and I see Judith was here. She's walking her dog, and Wendy is here from the US as well. So hello. It's still Wednesday in the US. It is. So good evening to, and I must admit I did forget, I said something about the US on my last live, and I had a Canadian pop up and said, don't forget we're watching from Canada as well. So hello to those in the US and in Canada who are joining me. So hello. Okay, so let's have a look at this bundle. So don't forget that during June, bundles, which are already 10% discounted, they have an extra 10% discount on top. So that brings this bundle to under 100. I think I saw it was 96 or something, around that, 96 something or other, but don't quote me on that because I just had a really brief look this morning. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a close-up. So we've got Citrus Blooms. So we've got the two nice big images that we can watercolor, a couple of extra little blooms, a little bit of a background stamp, and then a couple of our sentiments. And I really like the font on those ones too. And you know, I like a nice thin sentiment these days, so enjoying that one as well. So it is red rubber, and I'm already set up with this one. I haven't actually used this one. I've used this one once when we were actually out on stage. So but everything else, oh, I have taken them off. Oh no, that's right, because I did use them at on stage as well. So we are red rubber, 9 stamps in that. So then we have, I'll bring this one back in. Then we have our dies. So we have the dies to cut out the two big images, and then there's dies to cut out our blossoms, and then we have some extra ones as well, and you know, you can pop your little detail inside them, I guess. And then we've got some extra leaf details as well, but there's another layer to this. Check this out. We've got and I haven't used any of these yet. So we've got the die which will cut out a frame, so you'll have that solid piece. It won't be like a thin frame or anything, and it's just got that little bit of detail around it. So around the edge of your cutout piece, you will have little indents, little dots, which I think is really pretty. And then you've got, I'm actually going to pull these apart because you have that one there. Then you actually have this one here, and I've just spotted this too, by the way, while I'm looking at it. Then you have this one here, and then you have that one. So you can do some pretty awesome layering, or you can just use that one on its own, or you could just use this one on its own. You could die cut them both and put them together. You could die cut all 3 pieces and layer them together. So this one should be quite a fun one to play with once I start investigating it a whole little bit more. I might end up spending the rest of the month playing with this one. And now I can't get them back. Why didn't I draw around it when I first pulled them out? Why, you know, I was getting into the good habit of drawing around everything with my felt tip pen, and I didn't do it before I did that one. Probably because I didn't think I needed to. But I will probably have to draw around them. Okay, so that is really cool. So I might have to spend the rest of the month. I know I spent a long time playing with the Layers of Beauty, which is also on sale too, just saying. That one I spent a really long time, and I really feel like coming back to it. I could just spend the rest of my life playing with that bundle, I think. So if there's one that you have to get, that would be the one. If you don't want flowers, this would be the one, I think. And then we also have designer series paper. So I'll just grab this and I'll show you from this one. So we've got all our citrusy, and this one is called Mediterranean Blues. So we've got oranges, more oranges. We've got lemons as well. You will have to fussy cut these ones because the die won't fit it. And then we've just got some little blossoms, and we've got more lemons. And then this one's a mixture of lemons and oranges. They're just so pretty. And then when you flip it over, we've got the Mediterranean tile look. And of course, blue is opposite the yellow and the orange on the color wheel. So they go beautifully together. So, I mean, even when you put them together, you get that real Mediterranean feel, don't you? So even if you didn't want the bundle, you could quite happily just get away with the designer series paper. And if you didn't want the dies, you could even just fussy cut. So there's no excuses. If you don't like colouring, grab the paper instead and go for it. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? So I've got some fluid watercolor paper here, and I'm going to use my poor old stamper artist that was retired. And I'm actually going to, because I was thinking, what can I do if you are brand new to watercoloring and you're a little bit scared of going outside the lines? I was thinking, what can we do to try and ease you into watercoloring where you still feel like you're going to have really good success? And for me, that is to emboss. So we're going to black emboss this one, and the embossing sort of acts like a little rim, so that when you are watercoloring, you can your watercoloring will be contained inside that embossing. So if you're new to watercoloring, I recommend this, and then you can work your way up to just line down, and then you can and then you can work your way to even no line colouring, just stamp with a lighter colour. Okay, so I have freshly inked my Versamark ink pad, because I'm going to stamp this a couple of times just to make sure I've got really good coverage, because the fluid has got a bit of a texture to it. So, and I'm pushing it right up, so hopefully I can stamp it a few times. I wiped over with my embossing body because I am working with black and I don't want black speckles through my image where I don't want them. So there's a few little tips for you. We're going to die cut it, so I'm not so fussed if it's around the edges, but I don't want it in my image. So I'm just going to do that a few times. So make sure your Versamark's really well inked. Excuse me, I've got a croaky throat. All right, and because you can't really see, we're going to take a guess and hope that I've got it covered nicely. Put the lid back on there, because otherwise I'm going to end up with black powder all through it. Now, which end did I stamp on? Oops. Man, you know what I did? I'm not going to... Oh, no, it's okay. It's black powder. I was thinking... I won't tell you what I thought I did, because that's a bit grubby and gross, but I will tell you. I thought you know when you speak sometimes and you accidentally spit. I thought I got spit on my stuff, but that's a bit gross. Told you, if you come here, I'm a grubby stamper. So okay, so we've got a nice fine detail going on there. I'm quite happy with how that has stamped out. And I'm just going to grab myself a paintbrush. Oh, yeah, I know, the stamper artist. There's some things that I won't part with, and that is one that I won't part with. So I'm just going to, actually, I probably don't really need to do this, because I am going to die cut it. But I think we're pretty good. Okay, let's pack this gritty mess up. There we go. And these glass mats, you've seen me using it every single day since I got it back in December. I think it was December. They are coming back, so they are on pre-order at the moment for demonstrators. So if you want to get your hands on one before the crowd, then sign up. And You can get it in your start kit if you wanted to, and but it will be coming out 3rd of July for everybody else. So it's the item that you didn't know you needed until you had it. That's what I like to say. Okay, let's get this heat set. Oh, warm my hands up while I'm here. They're cold this morning. All right. I love embossing still. I'm sorry about the noise. All right, now we're starting to turn. I think we're starting to turn. Can't quite see properly. At least the heat tool isn't hot enough to, like it's not. I've got a Milwaukee one as well that I used for years, and that is really, really powerful enough to burn your cardstock. So yes, black is a good alternative. We don't tend to use black a lot anymore. Now, have I got it all or not? My eyes are playing tricks on me. Yeah, let me stick it under the... I don't want to go tapping my finger in it in case it's not. Because it's so fine. See, I just smudged. I knew it wasn't. Pookack. I smudged the tip. I'll have to be very careful. So hard to see. I can't see. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's cool that down a little bit. So we might be in here for a bit of a long haul, so apologies. Now, also, if you are on a mobile device and you are watching on YouTube, you can pinch your screen and actually zoom in to what we are doing. Let's start with shall I start with the leaves or should I start with the oranges? Might start with the leaves. So going by the colours in the designer series paper, and I'll just stick to that because I probably will use the designer series paper. The colours for the green are Old Olive and Garden Green. Now, when I watercolour, I actually work differently to, did I not get that either? Jiminy. I'm not having a good, oh no, yes, okay. So now I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, that's right. When I watercolour, I work in the opposite direction to when I use blends. When I do blends, I work from dark to light, and when I watercolour, I go from light to dark. So I've just got, I've actually got, I told you I'm a grubby stamper. I've got re-inker from goodness knows when here in my palette. I have squeezed my ink pad together to transfer some more, but I've also obviously put a drip in there. So what I like to do first is just make a little bit of a watery slush going on, and I lay that down first. So we'll just plunk it down, and it shouldn't be overly difficult. See, and that if I get a little bit too watery, now that I've got that embossed look going on, it will hold, it will contain my little bit of water. So it's, I can work quicker. I suppose I've been colouring for a while, but I feel that I can work quicker and not go outside the lines. So like I said, if you are new to colouring, oops, here's this one here that I mucked up, then try embossing. It is a little bit more forgiving. All right. And don't put your finger in the wet puddle. That is the other tip I have for you. Just be mindful of where you are, because that's wet right there on the tip. I can see it is wet, and you don't want your brush overly wet either. So you want it wet enough to, I mean, I'm doing a fairly thick layer here, so it's not too bad, but you don't want it wet enough that it's going to flood, and you don't want it dry enough that you can't actually get any movement going on. All right, my trusty rag here. So just wipe your pen off Make sure that water's running clear. Now, what you can do if you didn't want to use another color is you can actually go back in with this same color, but pick up some more intense colors and paint that on. But I am going to try the, actually I should close that because you know what? I've got a piece of white card alongside me and I think it just got green on it. Let me put it down on the ground. I am hopeless. All right, so I am going to stick with the colors from here, but you don't have to. You can build up just by adding water or taking away water and using full re-inker. Okay, so again, I've squeezed my ink pad. Just going to make a little bit of a slush, not as much as I did with the green, with the old olive. Okay, and then I'm not going to go fine art or anything like that. I'm just going to add a little bit of green. Now I do want that a little bit watery because I want it to flow and blend. And this is, you sort of have to play it by ear. So now I'm going to come in with a, because that was a little bit too much for me. So I'm going to come in and so now I've got that nice flow and my two greens can merge and blend together a little bit nicer. You can see that's wet there. And so I will do that and then I can always come back and deepen. So this one will be lighter because I coloured it differently. I'm just going to go down the spine. Like I said, I'm not doing fine art here. I'm just checking on some colour. And it's probably a little bit too wet for me, but I will let it dry and then I'll come back in and have another crack. So mine where that finger goes. I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. All right, so then we wipe off our brush and then I can come back in and just blend that out a little bit more. Smooth the line because you will end up with a harsh line, but you can come in and just smooth it with water. I almost feel like I missed one. I almost feel like I've lost all my old olive now, but it's just a little bit old olivey around the edges. All right, so I'm going to come in with a little bit of a deeper, and just where the shadow is, I'm just going to pop a little bit of deeper green, wipe off in between each one. So around where anything is sitting on top of it. So around here, the blossom, there will be a little bit of a shadow from the blossom. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of that darker green. This one, the orange is sitting in front of it. It's already quite dark there. This one here, that leaf is sitting on top. So I'm just going to deepen there, and that blossom is sitting on top. And then same around here. We'll just pop a little bit because that blossom petal is sitting on top. Okay. So that's what we have at the moment. So it's not, like I said, it's not fine art. I am going to have harsh layers and lines, but that is okay. I'm fine with that. Hello, Sue. Oh, wait. Just spotted a tiny bit before I put it away. There's a tiny little bit of green on the blossom here. Okay. Let's see how we go. Okay, so let's move on. We want that to dry because if you don't allow it to dry between moving on to the next section, you will end up, and the embossing should help with this, but if you don't have the embossing there and you haven't dried off one area before starting another, chances are they will bleed, and we don't want that. All right, so I'm going to use some peach pie first. Okay, make sure this is nice and clean. We don't want green in there. So, and which would have happened because I've got green in there. So make sure that's all nice and clean before moving on. Okay, so let's do a water wash again. All right, and that is quite slushy, but it's fine because I want it nice and light. I'll do this bottom one first. It doesn't seem to have too much leaves around it. So again, I'm just going to throw my colour on. My first colour, I usually just gets thrown on. I don't normally fuss too much. It's been such a long time since I've done colouring like this. I sort of went to the blends and did the alcohol markers and didn't come back. Okay, and last one, and just be careful with that one. I think I'm fairly well dry, but just take care when you do them. Like I said, that little embossing rim should help me a little bit. And I'm not painting, I'm sort of like putting my brush on and just mushing the ink around. All right. Everyone's so quiet when I colour. Okay, let's do some pumpkin pie. Oh, if I can get that open. I haven't got a lot of colour there. Squeezy, squeezy. Nope. I'm just going to grab a, oh, there might be enough. If not, I'm going to grab a re-inker. Might be enough there. Okay, so this is where we come in and we add a little bit of depth now. So we'll start around anywhere where there might be a little bit of shadowing and around the edges. So we're only just going to end up with a tiny bit of that peach showing. So we've got a stalk up here, the stem, and it's got a little bit of puckering at the top there. So we'll just pop a little bit around there. Again, I'm not lifting my brush off. I'm just sort of like I'm not painting like this. I'm just sort of putting my brush on the card and just wiggling it around. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a gap here. I'll bring it up to the screen and show you when I'm done. Okay, again, we've got the stem, so we want a little bit around there, a little bit more, need a little bit darker. So, and I've just left that with a little bit of a lighter center as well. So I'll bring that up to the screen so you can see. Yeah, it does reminds me of the apple harvest as well. So if you've still got the apple harvest, you can do, oops, I've frozen. You can do apples and oranges. And if you've got the paper, you can put the lemons in. All right, so I'm going to do one more color now. Again, if you don't have all the colors or if you didn't want to introduce another color, just like use a re-inker for the next layer instead. So I've chosen to use Cajun Craze, which is a reddy brown, still in the orange family. So I'm going to go gently with this one just in case it takes away too much of my orange. So I'm just picking up very, very gently and just with the very tip of my brush. And this one I will be picking up I'm not going to leave my brush nib on. I'm actually picking it up because I just want to add a tiny little bit of depth around those leaves, just around the shadowy areas. So this one I'm just doing really, really light, like this type of on it. Better wipe my hand because I know it'll happen. I'll get it on my white cardstock. And then I might just do a tiny little bit of stippling around these areas as well. And stippling, by stippling I mean just pouncing, like so, just up and down. Because oranges have a little bit of texture. Okay, so that's how that's going to look there. So I'll do these other ones. around the shadowy areas is that little wiping motion, a little bit around the edges where the puckering would be. I apologise when I go quiet because I can't seem to talk and colour at the same time very well. And then again, I'll do some little stippling around these darker areas. The artist has already drawn in a little bit of speckle. So, and just make sure that you're not too wet for this, because otherwise all your little dots and stuff will merge into each other. Totally ad lib this is. That's not bad. Of course, if you don't like the stippling, just do it smooth. All right, last one. That's the thing about colouring, it always ends up taking longer than what you think. Now I am losing some of that really bright orange, so what I might do is come back with my pumpkin pie and do some stippling with the pumpkin pie as well. Okay. Hey, Robin. I know everyone always goes quiet when it's colouring in time, so it's just what happens. Don't worry, because I go quiet too. I can't help it. All right, I think I am just going to grab my pumpkin pie re-inker. So give me 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. I found it already. So I'm just going to do a dot of pumpkin pie because I do want to sort of maintain that nice bright orange, which has sort of disappeared. I've sort of got like a bit of a rustic orange going on. So again, I'm just going to dip. Just and like when I'm in the nib, I'm like I am just dipping the tip in, which sounds weird, but we won't go there. And then I can just do a little bit more stippling, and you can soften it by, you know, lightening up the area with a bit of water if you need to. I don't know. I don't know whether I like it now that I've done it. Oh, it's always the case. Let's see if I can just fix that up. I don't like the texture. I don't like the texture. Anyway, done it now, haven't we? Let's get a bit of water in there. Let's get a bit of water happening. And the great thing is that because we are playing with watercolor, if you don't like it, the watercolor paper, if you don't like it, you can just keep going over and over. It's not going to peel like basic white cardstock would. There we go. I don't mind that one. That one looks a bit better. I think the other one's a little bit too heavy, but that's done now. That's okay. It's relaxing. It is relaxing. I agree about watching other people colouring in. I actually quite enjoy watching other people colour in as well. Okay, I like that one better. I like these two better. That one's a bit too dark and a little bit too stipply for me. I'll bring it up to the screen. But mind you, when it dries, it'll probably be a little bit different. So, but it's okay. What do they say? A blind man would be happy to see it. So we will continue. Okay, so Daffodil and Lemon Lolly is next. And guys, I'm sorry this is taking a long time for colouring, but the card should be quick. The card itself, oh look, let me get a drop in there. What was I doing previously to have one drop? How bizarre. All right, watercolour slash let's just chuck this baby down. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on these leaves, on the, what do you call them? The blossoms, because they are not the focal point of our image. It doesn't even want to go down. It doesn't want to go on. Oh, I missed another one. This one doesn't want to lay down. I think it's because it's got so much embossing in it, and the embossing is holding it back. All right, we don't want to spend too much time on this. Like I said, it's just a, you know, we want the oranges and the leaves to take the centerpiece. And this is the daffodil, and we're just going to do the centers, which should probably not. Probably should use crushed curry or something, but anyway, that's okay. And I've still got the stems to do. Now the stems are going to be very, very, very fine. That's dreadful. So much white in there. To get that out. It's easy enough to do. You just have your wet paintbrush and you can just wet it up a little bit. There we go. That's not too bad. Okay, so I need to do the stem, but I don't want to do it with that because I fear that doesn't matter what I do, it'll go outside the line. So I'm actually going to grab one of my blends. What have I got here? A pecan pie in light. And I'm just using the fine tip, and here's the postie at my door. So give me 2 seconds, please, because I know my son won't get out of bed. The postie come. Coming. Oh my gosh, I won't even try and explain what he's trying to do. He's got this new thing going on. He's making himself one of those little Dremel machines. He's got the battery and the pieces, so he's 3D printing himself a barrel, and he's doing all the crazy stuff. So parts. All right, let's have a look at that. That's not too bad. It's still a bit damp, so it'll tone down. Okay, I'm not going to cut it out immediately. I'm just going to set it aside and let it do its thing. I'm going to pop these to the side onto the floor actually, so I can have room. Okay, so we need to. Got my card base going on here. Let me just clean up my area a wee bit. All these ink pads out the way. So we can move on to the next stage, which is the card inking. Okay, so I thought what I might do is a background of designer series paper, and then because this is quite a large image. Oh, I thought of something I wanted to do. Oh, anyway, that's okay. Should I do it or shouldn't I do it? I don't know. So what I thought we might do is pick one of these beautiful blues to have as our background panel. So let's pick one together. Do I want to go for let's eliminate. Do I want to go for a large pattern? Let's do trial by elimination, shall we, everybody? Big pattern or small pattern to start with. what do we got? We got we got 2 big patterns, 2 small patterns, and 2 medium patterns. Let me put them in this order, and then you guys can start picking. So we've got 1, 2, big pattern, 3, 4, little pattern, 5, 6. All right. I'm thinking it's going to be one of these 2. What's on the other side of them first? Yeah, okay, I'm happy to sacrifice them. Don't you hate it? This is one of those packs where you're just like, oh, wait, but what's on the other side? I think it's going to be the dark ones. What do you guys reckon? Medium, small? I think it'll be one of these 2. Let me hold them up to the screen so you can have a better look at what's going on. So we've got one that's just little diamonds, and then this one's got like little flowery things. So I'm thinking it'll be definitely one of these 2. Just for contrast. Small flowers. Yeah, I reckon. Let's pick these ones. Now, what is the blue in here? I didn't even look to see what my blues were. They are Balmy Blue, Boho Blue, Night of Navy. I should know that, shouldn't I? Because we played with this the other day. On the right, small flowers. Yes. Okay, so this will just be a layering piece. And then I've got to find another accent piece, which I will probably, and I'm just going to do it on a white card base. I seem to be playing on white card bases lately, probably because I'm lazy and never do inserts. I'm a lazy grubby stamper. Did I get that right? I think so. Oh, by the way, if you are wanting the instructions for this, because you'll know that I'm not giving out measurements. So if you want the instructions with everything that I've used, so, you know, in case you've been trying to madly write things down, just in case you happen to want to case the card, sign up to my newsletter, which you'll find over at alisatilsner.com, and you can sign, what am I saying? You can sign up to my newsletter, and then I will be sending out a written tutorial for this on next Tuesday. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. All right, don't cut my leaves off. I'm just trying to see whether I can get this in the small machine. All right. I'm going to die cut next so I can start planning where things are going to go and what sizes I need. So I'll get rid of that. Oops, not that button. I need that button. There we go. I'm back. Right. No, thank you. I'm done. Getting distracted. Okay, so I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to draw around this one. Just so that I remember. There we go. So if you haven't done that trick before, it's a handy one, because then you know where they're going when you need to put them back. Oh, that just fits. And there's also 10% off cutting machines. So if you don't have the little bubby one yet, I do actually highly recommend it. I end up using the small one more than I use the big one. So the big one generally only comes out now if I was going to cut something like this, or if I have to emboss something. But other than that, the little one is constantly on my desk within arm's reach. As you can see, I'm starting to go through another cutting plate. Starting to get cracks in this one now. I do still have my other one. I didn't throw him away. It's starting to get a little bit of a wobble on it as well, but I didn't throw it away. I've still got it. So we're starting to get. You know, they do it quite well. They last. They lasted a long time. Okay. All right. There we go. Ooh, have a look at that against the blue. How awesome is that? Now I do want, and I should have done it with the, oh, you know, I've probably got time to still do that. I'm going to do it. Okay. I hope you guys don't mind hanging around. This is probably going to be a little bit longer than what I had envisioned, but I do want to just do some of these leaves, but I want them to have like that watercolored look. So if you'll just bear with me, let's do another little technique. How many do I want? Will that be enough? I'll do a bigger piece just in case. So what I'm going to do is grab my 2 greens again. Oh, you know, I reckon this happened to me last time I used it too. Hang on. Now I'm really going to get messy. Who wants a lesson in how to put these back together? Oh, no, no, no. All right. Alrighty, I think I have had this one. I've had that one for an extremely long time. That one is a linen pad, so she is probably from my starter kit about 18 and a bit years ago. So it has lasted. All right, so what I'm going to do is make a watery puddle, big watery puddle, slush. And we're just going to pounce. Okay, dry that off a little bit, and then we're going to come in and we're going to do a slush with this one here as well, and we're going to pounce that on top as well, just to fill in any of those gaps. Now, because I have got the garden green as my main colour in my image here, this is going to have a bit more of that brighter green tone to it. So I'm going to end up covering a lot of that old olive, but you can see how the color is changing because I didn't put old olive over here. I just want to make sure I've got enough card, but there's old olive here, so it's got that different color. So it's got that, because the old olive sort of has that more of a browny undertone. So there we go, and I'm going to get my heat tool out to set that so that I can start cutting into it straight away. Because if you're going to go to all this trouble to colour in an image and have it all nice, you want to you know, make time to finish your card off properly, right? Even if I have to keep you here for like an hour and a half. It won't be that long, I promise. Although it might be. Hope you got nothing else to do today. If you try cutting into this now, it is just way too wet to do that. But I didn't put enough down to like saturate them because it hasn't seeped through the back at all. Too much. Well, see, Wendy, that's what I'm here for. To inspire you to either use your stuff or I don't know, I think it's a nice alternative to flowers all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I love flowers, don't get me wrong. I use flowers lots, but it's nice to have something that's not always flowers. And the other thing is, if you've got gardener friends, you know, maybe even, you know, they might have a citrus tree in their yard that they love. You know, it's a nice, it's just different. Okay, so I'm going to cut out a few of these guys, and we've got 4 different shapes we can utilize. So I have to do this. Whoops, I'm not doing it very neat though because I'm rushing. We have got a grey drizzly day today. So what is more fun on a drizzly cold, well actually it's not that cold, grey drizzly day than stamping it out. Card making. Oh, Jane's still here, still watching. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Oh, man. All right, so that one just fits. We'll just do a couple of these, guys. You could do all 4 of them if you want, but I'll just do these 2 shapes. Maybe I'll just do 3 and see. Enjoying a cuppa? That sounds nice. But are you? I can never remember the time difference between WA. Is it 2.5 or 2 hours now? Because it changed. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to double cut these. I forgot it's fluid paper card. It is thicker. And I'm going to do one more time just in case. You could have actually done this on plain old white if you wanted to. There we go. So then we just have that little bit of an interest with our leaves, which I think, you know, gives a nice look. Instead of using, I mean, you could use paper if you wanted to, but instead of using paper, you can just pop these guys around just for a little bit of added extra. Oh, you've got sunshine stream, but you did have rain, right? 9:15, so it's 10:46 here. 10:46, 9:15. What's that? Is that only an hour and a half? I always thought it was more than that. All right, I've got room. It doesn't matter if my stem hangs out because my stem will go underneath anyway. Okay. And one more. Getting a workout today. Gosh. Getting a workout. That's okay because I haven't done one for a while. They're all really good. I get, you know, do one for a couple of days and then it's like, I don't feel like it anymore. That's so bad. All right. So go. Okay, now. Yeah, we've well, I think we're getting the rest of your weather, the rain. Although that last lot of rain that came through, we got nothing out of it. Oh, and Adelaide just had a stack of rain too, and we got nothing out of that either. So hooray. Right, I'm gonna do actually gonna do a white layer. So let me reach down to my pile on the floor and I'm going to pop. Now I want a contrasting color too, because you know me, I like to do my layery, scrappy layering bits. So I need you guys to pick out just a little color, maybe 2 strips, so that I can just pop them, you know, tuck them behind like I normally do. All right, snow, get out. Snow. Wow. Okay, what accent colors am I going to use? I should probably use pumpkin pie, right? So I'm going to have to delve into my cupboard as well, my drawers. And then I thought maybe a piece for embossing the sentiment on as well. Right, so we'll have that there. So the layer is going to be very, very simple. Remember, no, you can't put melon mambo. It's orange. That's not going to work. Here we go. What have we got going on here? You got to get these in the right spots. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, thank you for watching, Wendy. All right, I'm just going to duck to my drawers, to my filing cabinet. Okay, just going to grab some of that. Might not be long enough. Hang on a minute. There's all my scraps. There we go. There's another scrap. So I think I'm going to have that. And do I want some yellow? Oof. What do you reckon? Those two? And then maybe a bit of... Oh, ow. I just bent my fingernail back. Ow. And then maybe a little bit of... Oops, that didn't flick very far. Maybe a little bit of that. All right. Alrighty. Let's see how we go with this. A little bit of that, a little bit of that, and do my sentiment on that. Okay. All right. Moving you to the side. Rightio. Let's under there. All right. So we can pop you under there. Look at that. See? Just lifts that a wee bit. And then a little bit of, now I pulled out crushed curry instead of the lighter Daffodil Delight, mainly because I like crushed curry better than Daffodil Delight. So that's why I did that. And you won't even know. So we'll pop that under there as well. And it, oh, now I'm getting it. I know I've been crafting for too long when I get the belly rumbles. All right. And I think we will just do hello. Let me get my white. Heat and stick. No, I think I'll do white. There we go. See, and now I can feel myself rushing as well because I don't feel like I've taken up heaps of your time this morning. Yes, have a go. Definitely try it with that embossed look because I'm sure that it will help you. You'll feel safer because you won't go outside the line so much. I mean, I think I went out the line a little bit, but you know, not enough to be noticeable. But for most of it, you can keep contained in that area. So definitely try it with embossing. If you don't like the black, try it with the white. Although I will say, if you're die cutting it, you won't get that bold image anymore. So just depends on what you like. Like if you were going to do that and then watercolor a background, I think the white would be fine. Like if you did a blue background behind it. But I wouldn't die cut a white one because you'll definitely lose all that image. All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. I can feel myself rushing because I've been nearly an hour and I don't normally go for this long, so I apologize. You know what? I'm actually liking the look of those oranges now that they've dried and settled into the card. That little bit of stippling and mottling on there is looking quite good. Now I'm going to do a quick little bit. Okay, wait for my eyes to catch up with me. can't cut and colour at the same time as well. I can't cut and talk at the same time. I definitely can't cut and colour at the same time. There's a few things that you can't do, or I can't do at the same time. Yeah, nearly there. Oops. Yeah, that'll do. It'll be fine. Rebecca says, no rush, enjoying watching and listening to my accent. I don't have an accent. Hello. There we go. Something like that, I reckon. Something like that. Okay, let's get stuck down. We're nearly at the finish line. Oh, bling. Hey, what's the bling that matches this? And do I have it? Isn't that pretty? I think it's, I think they're dots. Do I have it? That's the question. I have gone through, you'll be pleased to know, I have gone through all of my embellishments and I pulled out all the ones that are no longer current and I've put them aside, and there was a lot of them, and I got down from something like my whole black tray, you know, from those trolley things. I managed to clear all of that out. It now holds my kits, and don't need that to be that big, and they're down to like 2 of those plastic containers and stamp containers, and that's it. That's all I have. All right, so the easiest way that I find this type of layering to do is just to build up this panel here. So we're just going to pop this one down first. Nice and straight. Use your grids on your glass thing, your glass mat, and then I just keep building up like this. And this one, I don't usually like to have them the same. I like to have one thin and one thicker, and so we'll just have a little sliver going on there. So that way I've got just a little peep through of that. And then this can go down. It is a little bit, you know, you do get a little bit of a bump there, but that's okay. We'll pop this on the left-hand side. And thankfully, if you've cut your paper straight, you can use the pattern on the guide as a guide there. And then we'll pop this out. Now I'm going to put dimensionals on this one, and I'm only going to use a couple, and I'll pop them like in towards the center, because I need to put those leaves underneath, and I like to pop them around last, so we don't want to have the them sticking out too far. So let's get our, I'm going to hang off just a tad over this side. So just make sure you've got your angle right, whichever way you want to put it. I think that'll be fine. Okay, so now where did I have these before? Just going to put a little bit of this nasty green glue just down the center of the spine. That way I can grab hold of them, and then I can just slip that up under there. And I'll do a small one. Again, I'm just going to pop just down the spine, not even both spines, just down one. You can give these a little bit of a, you know, a twist with your bone folder if you wanted to, just to bring them up a little bit. You see how, because I made my own paper for them, it sort of matches in a whole lot nicer than if I just pulled out garden green cardstock. Let's just shove that up a little bit further. There we go. And then oops, gently. I'll pop this one up under here. Okay, and one more. We'll do that one around here. So I have got a little bit of white space going on up there, but I think that looks better than, or should I put that one there? that one doesn't look too bad there. Yeah, I reckon I will put it up there. I wasn't going to. I feel like something's crooked. I don't know that it is. Maybe it's the angle that I'm looking at. Okay. How's that? And then we've just got our sentiment to go, and I'm just going to pop him half on, half off, and something around there. Did we find out? Does anybody got their catalogue? Did we find out what the gems, what the embellishments are that match this? I will get my catalogue out in 2 seconds. I will not be so lazy and rely on everybody else. I think I know what they are. I think they've got navy blue dots in them or something. Did I? Oh yeah, I'll put that. Just make sure that you put your dimensional on the right side. Hello. Hello. I think that's crooked. There we go. Hello. All right. Let's have a quick sneaky peek. I think this one's fairly easy to find. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Do I have them is the question. I should have. Look, so all of that stuff that I had, and now this is all I've got. Just these two. That's it. I went through everything. So now I don't have so much. But I might pull them out. Oh, actually the pearls might not. Pull them out just in case. Oh, I do have them. Look at that. Oh, and they are a bit pearly as well. See? I don't know whether they show up. Those clear ones, they're a little bit dewdroppy. I do have them. Whoop, whoop. Is that what they're called? Opal rounds. There we go. Look at that. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Lynn. All right. So now, which colours am I going to use? I don't mind the yellowy ones, actually. Does anybody else do this? Why can't they package them upside down like that so that you can have easy access to them? And that way you only have to pull out the slip. See? So much better, don't you think? Look at that. So, apart from then they stick to the... So I'm thinking the yellow one. Thinking the yellow. What am I looking for? Yes. All right, let's go for a yellow. They don't have glitter in them, but they've definitely got some sort of a shimmer thing going on. They're picking up different bits of light. So there we go. There we have it. I am done. Hooray, they all say. After an hour. Oh, molly. But you know what? Colouring takes time. Now, I also feel like I would like to do that water spritzing technique that I did with the what do you call it? The layering of beauty. I think I'd like to do that on this and see what I can come up with. I would try and keep the leaves watercolored, but I reckon you could get a little like that leaky. Have I got those cards here? Yeah, this technique. I think I'd like to try this with this type of technique, just for something different, to see whether that would work as well. So stamp it a couple of times and then get that flow happening. So, and then of course, if you don't like to colour, you can just die cut the paper, fussy cut the paper. So there we go, hooray. So now you can see that little bit of embossing on there as well. It's not picking up, but there is that little bit of a shine from the embossed look as well. So there you have it. Ta-da! Finally, she's finished. I know, I knew it was going to be a long one, so apologies for that. So that's it. So again, I will just swing around. So again, if you let me just get where I need to be. No, not that. Oh, where am I? Oh, there we go. So if you are wanting the instructions to this, it'll have all the colors that I've used, the whole supply list and everything. There won't be too many measurements. It's easy. But make sure you're signed up to my newsletter, alisatilsner.com, and you can head over. You'll see the subscribe button. So subscribe to that, and you get a free tutorial every Tuesday. That'll be Monday night for those who are in the US. Yeah. So that's it. And don't forget, bundles are got an extra sale on them at the moment too. So it brings them to almost 20% off. So just a little bit shy of 20%, but it's all good. So anything that is in a bundle at the moment, you can get extra savings on that. And don't forget the 2 new kits that came out this month as well. All fun and games. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. I do have another scrapbook kit that has arrived for me that is my personal scrapbooking. So I may share that. I don't know whether you want to see that type of thing as I'm starting my scrapbooking journey. I don't know whether you want to follow along, but I can always do a video for that next week, possibly. Okay, so thanks very much for joining me, and we will see you next Thursday for our regular card making dolls. So cheers for now. Bye-bye.